guys, Aaron Chalner here for Forever Football DRFC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel. It is a brand new Rovers and Rivals today. Of course, yesterday we had the massive news on the signing of Ben Close from Portsmouth, and today we've got Andrew Moon from BBC South to speak about the transfer. Andrew, big welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Great to hear. First of all, let's just get your overall thoughts on this transfer. Ben Close, free transfer, 3-year deal. Donny rarely heard a 3-year deal for a few years now. What's your thoughts on this transfer?
Yeah, I think it's, in all likelihood, it's probably a good move for all parties. Ben's a player who came through at Portsmouth, very popular, very well regarded. But it's just one of those situations, because of a number of circumstances, probably hasn't kicked on in the last 2 years in the way a lot of people thought he might. He really wasn't the kind of midfielder that completely suited Kenny Jackett's style. And I think a move to play under someone like Richie Wellens, who likes to play passing football, will suit Ben. He's a very technically accomplished player. And I think it might be a case of a good move for all parties, in that Portsmouth are trying to go into a new direction. And for someone like Ben, you're from the local area, you played at Portsmouth all the way through to your 24, you might just get to the point where, to develop himself as a person and a player, that it might just be the right time to move on and go and play for another club. And I think Doncaster is a good club, and I think Wellens is the kind of manager who'll be able to get the best out of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the kind of style of midfielder he is and what his strengths are, what can we expect from a Ben Close performance on his best day?
So, very good on the ball. He's got a really good range of passing, really can make things tick. And there are a couple of occasions, even towards the end of the season, particularly the EFL Trophy final against Salford, where Portsmouth really struggled. He came on and turned the game around. An impressive win away at Shrewsbury, where Close was magnificent. He's one of those players who he can just ping a ball from touchline to touchline and make a pass. The challenge for him is that 2 years ago, towards the end of the season, Portsmouth had Ben Thompson on loan, and Thompson went back to Millwall, and that was a big blow for Portsmouth. But towards the end of that season, Close really came through strongly and started scoring goals regularly. Now, he'd not done that in his career before then, and he's chipped in with 1 or 2 since then. But I think it's really something, if he can start finding the score sheet regularly, that's going to transfer him from being a League One midfielder to a Championship midfielder. But so Connor Chaplin, who obviously plays at Barnsley now, I spoke to him a few weeks ago. He holds Ben Close in the absolute highest regard. Feels he should be playing every game at League One level. And you speak to a number of other players who have played with Ben Close, and particularly that technical ability, they rate so highly. So there's an exciting player from that perspective.
Yeah, and I think that, it's not even just the players. I think, most of the fan base hold him in such high regard. I've had messages countlessly from Portsmouth fans saying, take really good care of him because he's a great player. From the Portsmouth camp, it's not looking good at the moment, isn't it? Despite the management of Danny Cowley. Watmer's gone to Wigan, Close to Doncaster. There is obviously rumours going about in the transfer market, but not a lot of business. Do you sort of worry for Portsmouth if they don't get the right business done for Danny Cowley?
I think there's a few layers to this. Firstly, I've said to a few fans this week, panic about how the squad looks in early August, less so in early June. You've still got 2 months, and I think that the plan was always going to be that Portsmouth would allow the market to settle and then really dive in. So I wouldn't be panicking from that. In terms of players like Ben Close and Jack Watmore leaving, the problem Portsmouth have at the moment is obviously everyone's finances have been hit by the pandemic. So the budget is going to be reduced on last year. Danny Cowley's been quite frank about that. And you've also got a number of pretty high earners still on the books. So while the budget will be competitive and top 10, maybe even top 6, because you've still got a number of players on what I'd call pre-pandemic wages on the books, you don't have the flexibility. So would they have liked to have kept Ben Close and Jack Watmore? Yes, I think they would have done, but they were both offered reduced contracts. And part of the concern was that if they simply re-upped all the players they had out of contract, suddenly they would have had very little room for manoeuvre. And let's not forget, this is a squad that ultimately failed last season. Pompey finished 8th. They didn't make the playoffs. I think sixth was viewed as a minimum. So you've got a situation where you don't want to simply keep the same squad as last year because it didn't achieve. You need to have some manoeuvre room, and I think that's why we're going to see the 5 out of contract players who the club officially said they were in negotiations with. I think you're probably going to see all 5 of them leave, and I don't think Portsmouth or Danny Cowley would be delighted with that, but I think they're happy that they made offers that they, on their terms, they wanted to re-sign them. Obviously, Close and Watmore have rejected them. I think it's likely Ryan Williams and Tom Naylor may well reject them as well. So it's a difficult circumstance. Just a word on Ben Close. As a player, obviously really good, but he's also a really, really measured and level-headed and likeable person. So will be a really good fit for any dressing room.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we sort of talked about Portsmouth there about, you know, but they finished 8th place, you know, just outside the playoffs on the last day of the season, you know, minimum was 6th place. If we look at Portsmouth going into next season, obviously we can't predict anything at this stage with the transfer window just being open in the next 24 hours officially. You know, do you expect Portsmouth to go for a top 6 finish again this season?
The fan base certainly would demand a top 6 as minimum. And look, Danny Cowley's been brought in. He knows what the job is. The job is to try and get Portsmouth in the Championship. You're not going to do that without a top 6 finish. And the worry would be, given Portsmouth's playoff record, you may not even do that with a 3rd to 6th finish, given how bad it's been over the years. But look, the ambition is promotion. So you feel if that's the case, 6th place has to be the absolute minimum. And Cowley's under no illusion that is what the expectation within Portsmouth is. And look, I don't think he would publicly or privately tell you that he doesn't believe he can achieve that. They've taken this job because they think they can get Portsmouth up. They believe in themselves. They believe in what they do. They believe they can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just finally, I mean, sort of, I know you cover Portsmouth, and I know that Portsmouth are going to go through their own promotion hunt. But sort of looking at Doncaster Rovers and what we're doing right now, we've got Richie Wellens as our brand new manager, someone who knows what it takes to win as a player, and has played under the philosophy that we're trying to bring back, which is the Sean O'Driscoll attacking possession football, Arsenal of the North philosophy. When you see him coming as manager, when you see a striker like Noel Hunt coming as assistant manager and wanting to bring that family aspect against Doncaster and to bring that togetherness about the squad, and see us, you know, in terms of recruitment, appointing Graham Younger, the man that took Cardiff to the Premier League with his recruitment a few years back, to head the talent recruitment, and James Coppinger working off the field now. With the first signing of Ben Close, with plenty more I'm sure to follow in the next couple of weeks. I mean, do you see something different going on with Doncaster Rovers compared to previous seasons? Do you think that Doncaster have a really bright future trying to refine that identity again?
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously Sean O'Driscoll is now in the academy at Portsmouth in quite a low-profile role as their head of coaching. We don't see or hear too much about him. But I remember when we broke the story that he was joining Portsmouth, it was the reaction all came from the Doncaster Rovers fans. Look, Wellens is a good manager. I know it didn't quite work out at Salford, but you don't get very long there generally. Did a phenomenal job at Swindon. Clearly moving in the right direction. The thing I say with Doncaster is I was a bit surprised the collapse towards the end of the season. I thought there'd be contenders to the top 6. I would certainly expect them to be a top 10 team again. We don't quite know how it's going to shape out, but League One is looking on paper like it is going to be really, really tough this season. Obviously, Sunderland didn't go up. That would have been good. Lincoln are going to fancy themselves. The teams coming down, Wycombe seem well set, even though they won't have a big budget. If Sheffield Wednesday could find a way not to be such a mess, you feel they should be one of the stronger clubs. Rotherham have got promoted the last 2 times they got relegated. Bolton coming up will be strong. So I think Doncaster are going to be in that promotion mix, but I think this is Portsmouth's 5th season in League One now. And from my experience, in June, things can change. It looks like probably going to be the toughest year to get up in that top 6 of any of the past 5 years.
Yeah, I'd have to 100% agree with that. And, you know, I mean, looking towards the future of Portsmouth finally, you know, do you see a bright future? Do you see yourselves going out of League One and trying to get back to where Portsmouth were at like a decade or so ago, which was like the top level of English football at some point?
Yeah, Portsmouth's rise up the divisions that felt almost inevitable when they dropped to League Two has been more challenging than people thought. It took 4 years to get out of League Two. In the first year, with 10 games to go, they were in danger of being relegated out of the league. Now a 5th season in League One. It's been tougher than people thought, but Pompey are going to have a competitive budget. I think they've got a good manager in. So I don't think they're going to be far away this season. But the trouble is in League One, as Portsmouth discovered, not being far away and being in the mix and actually getting over the line and getting back in the Championship are different things. Portsmouth will be in the mix. Will they get over the line? It's one of those we'll have to wait and see, and can sometimes be as simple as the correct bounce of a ball somewhere. They're going in the right direction, but there's no guarantee they get there next season, that's for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Andrew, thank you very, very much for coming on the show today. Really do appreciate it, mate.
No worries at all.
And thank you guys for watching this. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss YouTube video. We're going to stay covered to all the transfers for Doncaster Rovers Football Club, so stay tuned for that. Of course, Euros coverage starts this week as well, so really looking forward to doing that. And of course, in July, Olympics coverage, so stay tuned for all of that. But for now, guys, I'm Aaron Chandler from Throw Football, DRFC. Keep living the Rovers life, and that, my friends, full time. Rovers side die. Thank you very much.